Oh, good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm Donna Maria, and this is our amazing call, webinar, mentoring, coaching, training thing that I am so excited to have. So let me just give you a little bit of background really quickly about how this is going to work today. First of all, you are all on mute right now, but I want to talk to you. But obviously, with the platform that we're using to prevent like everybody talking over each other, people are muted. So when I call on you, or if you have something to say, or when I ask a question and you have an answer, just wave your hand like that and I will unmute you so we'll be able to have a conversation. The other thing is, I hope that you will turn on your video. I know how the video is, right? I get it. I totally get it. But there's two things about that. First of all, I can probably relate to you a whole lot better if I can see your beautiful smiling face. And second of all, really, you know, we are all entrepreneurs. We are all business leaders here. And so we have to really train ourselves, even when we're a little bit uncomfortable. We have to train ourselves to show up, right? So for me, you guys, I'm not a makeup person, although I think I actually do look a little bit better with makeup on. But I just don't have the time or patience for it. I make sure my hair looks decent, I put on a little lipstick, and I push the record key, and I'm ready to go. So everybody's different, I know, but I just encourage you all to do that. I love to see you. I see people joining. Hi, Tony. Hi, Terry. It's really great to be here with you. So let's go ahead and dive in. Here's our format for today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the questions first that were already posed in the group, because there's some that are already there. So I'm going to go have a look over there at some of those questions and pose those here, because I think they'll be really helpful for everyone who is already here listening. You might have similar questions. So I'm going to start with one of those just to kind of warm things up. But then I want you guys to ask questions about the challenge. You can ask a specific question about day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. You can ask a question about your business. And let me tell you, the purpose for this is for me to be here for you to talk about recurring revenue membership business models. Now, we can talk about general business models a little bit another time, because I can maybe help with those too. But the purpose of this challenge and the purpose of this community is to help each other build predictable, consistent income based around a membership business model. And there are so many different ways to do that. And I think that's really the best news ever. Because what it means is you don't have to follow someone else's system. You can if you want to, but you can create your own. And honestly, that's what's going to make you stand out most in the marketplace anyway. So anybody have any questions about what we're going to do today and how we're going to go? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take a quick look over here at the questions that we have that have already been posed. And I'm just going to pick one. Okay, so really quickly, here we go. Danielle is an accountant and a bookkeeper, and she says she has had the idea of creating a community, which was day 1. Remember, the foundation of any recurring revenue membership business is a community. And we're going to talk a little bit about that too. But she says, this idea of creating a community for my business is stretching me in a good way, considering that her specific group, she doesn't have a group or a community yet, she says, it doesn't exist. I'm really stuck on the types of questions that I should be asking. Do you have any advice or guidelines on how to think of informative questions specific to my audience? Okay, so being that I am, and probably most of you actually are too, her target audience, assuming she's working with small business owners and she's an accountant or a bookkeeper, like we can think of a ton of questions that she could ask people to kind of warm them up to her and help her get into their heads. So this is an example of how you really have to just kind of put yourself in the position of your target member and figure out what would be interesting to them to talk about. So for example, here's the suggestions that I made to her. I said, I think I had 4 questions as suggestions. How did you find your first employee? Right? Was it a job board? Was it LinkedIn? Was it Craigslist? Was it a classified ad? This is significant because as a bookkeeper, she's probably helping them with their payroll. So it's an interesting question. It gives them a chance to talk about themselves, number 1, right? If you can help your community members talk about themselves in ways that are positive and uplifting, they're going to be responsive to that. They love to tell their stories. Everybody does, and everybody loves to be heard. So if you can create simple ways for them to be heard, hey, everybody, how'd you get your first employee, right? That takes 5 seconds for you to do. You can be gone from your community for the whole day working on your business, and you can come back at the end of the day and set aside 5 or 10 minutes to engage them around that question, and you've accomplished a lot in your community for that day. Here's another question, Danielle. How do you organize your home office and keep it from being messy, right? A lot of her business owner clients are probably solopreneurs. In fact, I think she said that in the question. So, you know, it can get a little messy, we all know. I know I'm surrounded by a little bit of messiness. I cleaned out the back though, so you guys didn't have to see it, but there's a little stuff on my desk going on here. Here's one more question just to close things out on this question. Is your business a corporation or an LLC or other, and why? So she probably already knows that if she's asking this question and these people are already her clients, but here's what happens. That sort of a question is going to connect them to each other. And that's really where the magic happens in a community. When it's not just you talking to them and them talking back to you, but it's them talking to each other and sharing their own experiences, and sort of in your ecosystem, in this tight, close-knit community of people who are similarly situated, when they start talking to each other and sharing their experiences and helping each other, that's where the magic really, really happens. So hopefully it helps to, even though everybody here is not an accountant or a bookkeeper, hopefully it helps to see answers to her questions and what she can ask her community, and hopefully that gives you some ideas about how you can approach the same sort of necessity that you have to ask questions in your community, so you can get to know who you're serving a little bit better. So before we get into questions, does anybody have any aha moments they'd like to share? Like, have any light bulbs gone off for anybody so far in this challenge as you've done some of the homework? If you want to raise, okay, Diana, let's see, we're going to unmute you. Hey, Diana, wait, let me unmute. Why can't I unmute? Diana, can you unmute yourself? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Yes. Yes, I can.
Okay. I think the aha for me was the day 2 when I think that was the video that I did asking or teaching my community, and then look, because I already had that video. I didn't do it that day, so I kind of cheated.
Okay.
So, but watching everybody else's ideas helped me foster things that I could do.
Yeah.
What I have, like the guy that has, I think it's Hans Urban, and he did that IG story where he taught, but each story was a teaching thing, and it was wrapped around his brand, and there was no video involved. It was just words. But you know, people look at that all the time, and I was like, I could do something like that. Yeah. And it's real quick, not rocket science all day trying to think what content to create.
Yes.
Something that I could do. So that was a great aha moment for me, just seeing everybody else's ideas.
Yeah.
And looking at that.
So have you discovered that, number one, oftentimes we overthink, right?
I overthink all the time.
Right. Number 2, we think it has to be fancy and complicated.
Right.
And number 3, we think it has to take a lot of time.
Yeah. And
it doesn't. And let me just tell you, just to encourage you about what's going to happen if you keep doing it, it's going to take less time.
I'm hoping for that. I'm praying for
that. It will take even less time. But here's the thing. I want us all to think about time this way. If you could spend, it's really an investment, so I'm going to change that word. If you could invest time in your business day with people who are already interested in what you are delivering or saying or sharing, like, is that not preferable to hoping that you can get more eyeballs on Instagram or so forth?
Yeah.
Right? And that's how, in 20 years, that's how I've thought of it. It's like, yeah, I want some new eyeballs, but you know what? If you serve the 5, 10, 20 eyeballs that you have, you're going to get more eyeballs, and you're not going to have to, pull your hair out to get them. Yeah. Yes. Well, good. Thank you. So they responded to your video and you got to know them better.
Yeah.
And now they want more.
And now, like, I guess I did a post yesterday, something similar to that. And on Instagram, it's like people, like you said, people that are already in my community, they're seeing it more, so they're responding. Because normally it's like, oh, you get 5 likes and it's like, oh, well, my day is not accomplished, but I got more engagement of people actually talking.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yes, engagement. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Diana. Anybody else want to raise their hand and share any aha moments or feedback? Hey, Vanessa, I can unmute you for some reason. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. What's your aha?
My aha moment was yesterday when we were posting the videos. I was just sitting there and realized I had this ideal in my head for months. I had it written on paper, but I just never went through. And I started looking at everybody else's stuff. I was like, oh my God. So it took me 10 minutes to put the whole thing together because it's been in my head so long. I'm like, wait, not just this one, all the other ones I have, like, I'm one of those notes people. I have notes all over the place. I'm like, wait a minute, I can do this. Then I just said to myself, get over yourself. Because so many of us are so conscious of how, like, oh my God, my hair is not right and this not right. I'm like, get over yourself and just do this. So it was a real aha moment for me.
Good. It sounds like simplification has sort of kind of dawned on you a little bit. That's a lot of fun when that happens and you realize it doesn't have to be as complicated as, and I think a lot of times there's a lot of noise and chatter in the marketplace today about how complicated it is. Like, you need to have 5 steps and you need to have a system, and the word funnel, which like I've banished from my vocabulary. I know Karen's like saying yes, like she rolled her eyes when I said funnel. It's like the funnel thing. It's like, that's not new, you guys. Like, everything is a funnel. Like, when you teach your kids how to sit down at the table and do their homework, it's a funnel. Like, it's not a new thing. You can't just slap your kid down at the table, especially after they're a certain age, and like throw a pencil at them and make them do. You gotta tell them how great they are, and you gotta entice them. Might buy a little snack at the store after school. There's an approach to everything. There's a funnel for everything. So all this stuff about how you need this funnel and you need this kit and that kit,
garbage.
I just can't. So thank you so much for sharing, Vanessa. Anybody else want to share? Oh, yes?
I was going to say that after I posted it on Facebook, I'm like, wait a minute. I threw it on YouTube. Then I'm saying to myself, wait a minute. I can put a note on my blog and have people look at either one.
Yes. And this is the power of doing something one time. Thank you, Vanessa, for that reminder. Doing something one time and getting a billion uses out of it. A billion uses. Because if you post something on Instagram and you have a gorgeous picture and you have 3 or 4 sentences, paragraphs, I don't know, whatever it is that you want to share, that's a blog post, it's a Facebook post, it's a newsletter, it's a Facebook video, it's a Pinterest maybe, depending on how it's formatted, and you can use it this month, and you can also use it this month next year, right? So I'm a big believer in saving your intellectual property. We use Dropbox. You might want to use something different, but save these images. Save all of these things, because you can put text over it next time. It's a totally different graphic. You can remove the text. You can put your logo on it sometimes, which is a really good idea. Slap your logo on there. Have a logo. If you use Canva, a lot of people use Canva. Have it saved in your Canva file. You just slide it onto every graphic and you have your logo at the bottom of every single one. One of the things that we do to engage our audience too is we will make a post on Instagram and we will literally cut and paste that thing into a blog post. Like, seriously. So what does that mean? If I'm doing the Instagram post, I don't have to do the blog post. Why? Because it's already there. And not only that, I got somebody checking my spelling on Instagram too as a bonus, because when they post it to a blog post, they're going to see any mistakes in the spelling and so forth. And so it works from that perspective as well. So thank you, Vanessa, for sharing that. Anybody else want to share any aha moments? Awesome. Lola, hey.
Hi. So first, I'm going to start by saying I have been struggling this whole week I guess for 2 weeks now, trying to wrap my head around how I can create something that is going to offer reoccurring revenue for my business model, but still live within the practices that I teach and share. And so last night, my husband and I were discussing the obvious information that you saw yesterday, that I can sit and I can teach anybody about anything that they want to know about because of my huge knowledge base.
Yep.
And he was like, you know, your time is valuable. He's like, what if you did a little class and you said, you know what, you can, you know, come to this class. And I'm like, oh, well, I'll charge $10. He's like, are you kidding? He's like, you've invested so much money in your education. He's like, you know, when you used to do consultations, he's like, how much were you charging? He's like, and you're wanting to teach a group of people for an hour, 2 hours? He's like, your time is valuable. So that was my aha moment this week. And it hit me last night after we were talking about it. And so now I'm trying to run my little hamster through the wheel to create something that is going to not only allow me to teach, but do it in a way that people are going to want to be part of, maybe a separate group where they have access to me once a week and they can ask whatever questions, and it's not necessarily directly affiliated with my business. Sorry, that's my dog. She's crazy. But just so that I have that reoccurring revenue.
Okay. Okay. So who's open to some laser coaching? Lola, are you open to some laser coaching? Anybody else? We can zoom in, okay? Because I think sort of my approach can help everyone here, and then I can, you know, get as many people as I can. Okay. So Lola, are you open to this?
I am.
Okay. So who's your really quickly? Let's be succinct. What do you sell?
Essential
already
oils.
Like, what are you selling now?
Essential oils.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, so she's selling essential oils, and I saw that from her blog post yesterday. I can't remember what it was, but it was something that had sort of generally to do with that. Okay, so you sell essential oils. Who do you sell to?
I sell primarily to practitioners, teachers, and then individuals who are aware of essential oils.
Okay, so do you have two target audiences? Do you have practitioners and teachers who are business owners, entrepreneurs, and then you have people you just generally sort of describe them? Are they, for lack of a better term, are they consumers?
They are consumers.
Okay, so you have two target audiences.
Yes.
So I want to make sure that you're aware of that, because it's two totally separate approaches, how you approach them. So which one should we focus on right now?
I would say the consumers.
Okay. So, and tell me a little bit about them. Like, are they eco-friendly, naturally conscious? They don't like fragrance oils. Tell me a little bit about them.
They're very much into plant-based medicine. They're enthusiastic about learning, but often don't know how to start and don't want to spend thousands of dollars on a program because they don't necessarily want to be a practitioner.
Okay.
So they're looking for information, which I have.
Okay, that is a petri dish right there, okay? That is a beautiful thing with organisms growing all over it. So there is a lot of information out there. And so my guess is one of the objections that you're going to get is people like, well, I can just read about it on YouTube or in this free newsletter, and I got this, you know, aromatherapy magazine or what have you. So that's something that you're probably you might already be getting it, I'm not sure. But what I want you to focus on doing is I want you to focus on laying things out for them in an organized way. Because there is a ton of information everywhere, but my gosh, you can't even, you know, fix dinner if you want to find it all, because you got to go find it all. So if you can organize and categorize the information in a way that allows your consumer, and I'm assuming they're mostly women?
Yes.
Okay, allow your women to be able to go into, you know, some sort of a platform, and the technology we can talk about as well in a bit, but let's just focus on the big picture right now. To go someplace where they can search and see everything about colds and flu, or they can search and see, you know, air clearing, or hair care, skin care, whatever it might be. If you can categorize that information for them and perhaps offer them, let's just say, a larger webinar every month, and then a mini course or a mini class also every month, plus a discussion forum or a Facebook group where they can connect, they would, I think, be very responsive to hearing about that and also paying for it, and on a monthly basis or even an annual basis, if it's really, really going to help them. So what do you think about that kind of an idea?
I think it sounds awesome, but my hesitation with that is the amount of time that would be required to pull it off, only because once our fall season starts here in the desert, I do markets every weekend on top of gearing up for Christmas sales. So I get incredibly busy for like 6 months out of our year. Plus I distill on top of that.
Okay. So two things occur to me. There's a big picture response I have to that, and that's this. Recurring revenue by definition means that my payment to you recurs. So guess what that means? You have to recur. Okay.
Right.
You have to either figure out how to do that yourself, or you can hire someone to do that. Like there's other aromatherapy type experts that you're probably connected to.
Oh, yes.
Who would be happy to do a webinar for you. You know, they can promote their business, so you might want to be careful about who you choose. But certainly you could select some of your colleagues and say, you know what, I have 6 webinars I have to fill, right? You do 6, you find 6 people. Not hard to do. And then for maybe the mini one that I talked about, you could figure out how you could, just kind of fit that in. Because I think you've got to be able to recognize that if you're the teacher, they're going to want to make sure they have access to you. So another idea is, and I don't really like this idea, I'm going to throw it out there because ideas can go places, because sometimes when we have an idea, it's not that great, but other people might have suggestions around it, maybe some people here. You could make it a biannual membership, like it lasts 6 months. And then for the rest of the time, we stay in here in the group and I tell you what I'm distilling, and then I tell you how you can go buy it.
Right.
Right. So you could have the purpose of the group be educational for half the year, and more demonstration for the rest of the year, and focusing on, look, I teach you how all this stuff is done and how you can use it at home. But for this time of year, since it's my harvest season, I'm going to show you how I actually extract the oil. And then, and I'm going to teach you, look, here I can show you with this thing why it's better to buy an oil that's extracted this way than this way. So you've empowered them to go out into the marketplace and look at millions of aromatherapy companies and narrow down their choices because they do it this way or this way, because you've empowered them and you've taught them.
Right.
So that's another idea as well. And I will tell you that the amount of time you spend in your, physically delivering is going to, basically it increases or decreases with what you want it to do. I mean, because you're the leader. But over time, it decreases naturally, simply because you are able to do things faster. Like sitting down, 10 years ago when I first, started doing webinars, it would have taken me hours to prepare for something like this.
Right.
Because I would start preparing, at a particular time. Well, now my whole life is preparing for something like this because it's just what I do. So I can sit down really quickly and, barring any weird technical issues, kind of push the start button. So over time, it becomes less and less of a thing, and more of something that you just really enjoy. And as your husband says, you're the expert. Like, you should charge for that. It needs to be reasonable depending on who your audience is. You have a business audience, you teach them slightly different things. Well, you might charge them more because they're business owners and they're going to make money on what you're teaching them, as opposed to the mom who's, at home just trying to, make her surroundings improved. So does that help?
It does.
Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts or ideas for Lola? You can raise your hand. I can unmute you if you want to share. Okay, Diana does. Still can't unmute Diana, but you can unmute yourself. Okay,
I have
go.
my
What you got for
own
Lola?
unmute controls.
Nobody tells Diana to shut up, right?
What I was thinking for Lola when she said that 6 months out of the year she's busy and she does events and things like that, you can, because I'm assuming this, if you're not going to be in an in-person class, it's going to be a video-based class, maybe, just throwing that idea out to you. You can do, like she said, make them organized in certain videos, do ahead of time, and then automatically send them. So like month 3 is this, but you're at an event, but you're sending them, you're pushing the video out that's already been curated and done, you know, so that way you can do what you need to do. But again, they're doing this on their leisure. So you're still a teacher, you're present, but it's a video. And they can ask you questions after the video. You have the group so they can come back and then ask you the questions. You're technically not present until you come back and you look at the question, but you've already, set up the framework.
Good idea. So you can automate, do some of it in advance and automate the delivery somehow. Yeah, that's a great tip. Thank you, Diana.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? All right, good. Let's see. I think we have, wave your hand if you have a question. You want to share anything? I think I saw 2 raised hands. Let me see. MT iPad, where are you? You raised your hand. I don't see you though. MT iPad. Let me unmute you. Let me see. Oh, can't unmute.
Can you hear me?
Let's try again.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hi there.
Hi.
I had just raised my hand to say hi. I didn't have a comment.
Oh, hi.
Okay.
Okay, just saying hi. Okay, well that's good. Thank you for that. Do you have a question or a comment since I opened you up here?
Not really. There's just so much I'm taking in. I'm making notes. This is fantastic.
Okay, good. Well, don't hesitate to wave again if you have a question. Let's see. I think Bernadette. I think I see you there from Louisiana. Hey.
Hey, how are you?
We're good. How are you?
I am doing well, thank you. So thank you for doing this. I'm not really always huge on social. I have a Facebook profile because I need to have a Facebook business page. And so I know we had a conversation around working to build that up. And so I know being present will attract the people that are online versus my current customer base, that they respond to an email, a personal letter, or a call, which isn't necessarily sustainable on a larger scale. So around the question that Lola had, or the laser coaching that you were doing with Lola, one of the things that I've been thinking about is how to, for product-based businesses like myself and others that have product-based businesses, how do you, what recommendations would you give for generating a recurring revenue model?
Okay. This is one of my favorite topics. I'm so excited. Okay.
I can tell.
It is. I know. I look like a cat that ate a mouse. I know. Okay. So just off the top of my head, an idea. So obviously people are buying products one-off. So there's a couple of different ways that you can do that. First, let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have a signature product that people tend to already buy on a repeat basis?
So yes, so there is the Blemish Balm, which is super popular. Then we have our Shea moisturizers. In my target audience, we specialize in products that help you deal with dry skin, focus that down even more, and things like seborrheic dermatitis, I cannot speak for some reason, seborrheic dermatitis, and eczema, just based on my own experience. And so those are the signature products. And then I also introduced smaller sampler sizes, which has resulted in my order rate increasing, and people that usually buy a regular size will then buy those smaller sampler sizes to try them out.
Okay. So you could create, do you use Shopify?
I do.
Okay, so there are some plugins for Shopify. You may be familiar with them. If you're not, we can, and if you guys have a question about it, we can post it in the chat. There's a couple of them that you can just plug into your website and assign the recurring option as a shopping cart option to certain products. So for example, if you have people buying the balm, the dry skin balm, for example, all year long. I don't know what size it is, but will it last a full 3 months, a quarter?
Yes.
Okay, so you could put that on a quarterly recurring basis for them. And you could allow them to, put it in their shopping cart. You could also allow them to, share a preference, like I prefer florals over whatever. I don't know if you change your scents throughout the year or if they're always the same in the line. Those kinds of details you'd want to make sure you work out. But for people who have really, really dry skin, it's such a convenience for them to not have to worry about ever running out of the product that helps them manage it. And so putting that on a recurring basis and creating, even a separate email list for them where they're tagged, so they get reminders, they get updates about, the latest research on dry skin, for example. Why even in the summertime you still need a moisturizer for your dry skin, right? Some people think you don't need it in the summertime. Then you have an opportunity to engage them around that and also put that on a recurring basis without a whole lot of extra energy and time and input where you're concerned. Another idea is, I'm kind of making this up as I go, but I think this might be a good one. You could have a VIP level of membership for your customer base where they have access to things like maybe they get free shipping, assuming everybody else doesn't. Maybe they get free shipping on their orders. Maybe they get 10% off instead of free shipping on their orders, or some sort of a special thing that kind of saves them a little bit of money. You could put in all of those people's orders a special sample of maybe something that you have coming up that's being tested, but it's not rolled out yet. So they get like first dibs on a new fragrance or what have you. You could also, and I think this is a really cool idea, if you can fit it into your manufacturing, is you can roll out VIP products on a quarterly basis that are only available to them. So for example, do you have a Facebook community, a group?
I have one that I just started. I created it last year, but just started engaging.
Okay, so imagine a situation where people who loved your brand were in that group, like people who were interested, whether they bought anything or not, they're in that community and they enjoy being there with you and it's a whole lot of fun. Something weird happened to my, can you guys, okay, that was weird. That was a glitch. Okay. You could have a VIP option where you had your general community connecting around your products. Like, hey, you guys, guess what? We just launched a new option where you can buy the balm, the dry skin balm, every quarter and have it delivered to you, and you pay 5% less for it or something like that. So you can make your announcements like that. You could do most of your videos in the group. I know you have your page, which you can still do that as well, but you can do most of your videos inside the group, so it's more personal and really more connected. It's like you've invited them into your parlor, in your home. So you're serving them all the lemonade and the iced tea, whereas everybody else is just kind of getting, get your own water out of the refrigerator, right? So you treat them that way. And if you had a VIP, what you could do is every quarter you could announce, hey, you guys, the VIP kits are ready. So guess what happens? All your VIP people run over there to get their VIP kit, or if they haven't subscribed, they will subscribe to get it. But if they're already subscribed, you say, hey, everybody, the VIP kits were mailed out this morning. Here's what it is. It's this, and this, and scents that aren't offered. Those of you who are our VIPs, yours will be, landing on your doorstep tomorrow. For those of you who aren't, we have 5 left.
Yeah.
So go over there. And so what you'll find is people will be like, ooh, VIP product. At a minimum, they're going to go check it out. At a minimum, they're going to go to your website and see what it is. And you can ask your VIP members to come back into the community and do an unboxing, right? And share how wonderful it is. And so what you have is, and the VIP people can still buy everything else, but they're getting this unique, you only make maybe a quarterly basis, you make, 25, 50, however many you have. And maybe you have them in a private meeting, like we're in a private meeting. This is not being fed to the group. This is only the people who decided to show up.
Right.
So everybody else, just so you know, here's what they're going to get. They're going to get access to the recording for about 24 hours. And I'm going to take it down because you guys showed up, because your time is valuable. So I want to reward you for that. And I want to have this moment to laser coach people who are putting as much time into their businesses as I am while I'm here. So that VIP idea is a status that you can provide for them. And then you can have a retreat. Okay. Who doesn't want to go to New Orleans to spend time with you? Right? I don't know if this appeals to you, but women who have, the dry skin and your target audience, and Bernadette, I've watched some of your videos, and because you did a challenge last year where you did like a video a day for 1 million days or something.
Right. And who came up with that? I wonder. It was like somebody named Donna Maria. No,
I somebody else challenged. I was going along for the ride. I think I stopped on day 19 or something, but you kept going. Right. And then the person who organized the challenge, just for how's this for humor, like she got sick and stopped doing videos altogether.
Was that Robin? I can't remember who. Was it Robin?
No, her name was Amber, but you kept going. Yes, but my point is that you have a very personal style already, like the sound of your voice and the sincerity that you offer. It's not fancy. It's not dressed up. It's just, it's me. And I've done this for you guys. And it comes across as very authentic. And when you have that naturally, leverage that, because not everybody has it. Some people have to work really hard at that because they just don't look that way, but you do. And so I think hopefully those two ideas give you some fodder that you can think about. What do you think?
I think it's really great because when I switched to Shopify, I used to have two things. One thing called the Natural Beauty Club, where you would pay, I think, $20 a month. No, not a month, a year. And you got 10% off for the entire year. Okay. I also got first dibs on new things. And then I also had something called Taste of Senika. This was before things were automated as they were now, where I would you got like one product for a certain price I think it was like every month or every other month or something. Okay. And how did that work out? My committed customers or my longtime customers purchased it. So that just kind of gives me some ideas to reinstate that on the Shopify platform. Okay. And I noticed that a few people mentioned talking, I think Lenia, is it Lenia? I'm not sure if I'm saying it right. Martel mentioned like Charge Rabbit on Shopify's in the comment section. So I'm going to definitely check that out. This is very helpful. I will say VIP kits, when you talk about that and linking it to VIP group, do people become members of the VIP group after they make a purchase, or is this something where they get access to the VIP group? No, I think you put everybody together in one group. Okay, gotcha. And what you do is you engage them all the time, just about everything they care about. But then once a quarter, the engagement shifts for a few days to those VIP kits. Okay, gotcha. Right? Gotcha. So like the week before, like the VIP kit's going to come out July 3rd. Right. So in June, you start talking, in the middle of June, guess what, guys? We're finalizing these VIP kits, and we have to choose between Plumeria and Frangipani. Which one do you guys prefer? Well, you're going to get votes from VIP people and non-VIP people, but you're also going to get questions from non-VIP people who come and go, what VIP kit? Like, I like Frangipani, but what's this kit thing? And you know what's going to happen? And here, this is magic. This is magic, you guys. Before you even know it, someone else in the community is going to come in and post a link to where that person can go buy a VIP kit. Okay. So you're going to start seeing Diana smiles. She got that little smile. Now she's like, yes, they will. Because yes, I know, because that's what's going to happen, because
when you have a community around your brand, they want to help you as much as you want to help them.
Mm-hmm.
So like even during this challenge, some people didn't get the email. I think it was Vanessa. Somebody couldn't find the email or something. And I went in and I saw the question. Well, Vanessa had already answered it. Here's what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and that's kind of what will develop over time. If they know that you're invested in them, they will invest in you. And I know that your brand has a lot of, is it Caribbean, sort of a Caribbean flair to it?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you could also, I don't know what the name of the group should be, and that's another issue. Like, is it your brand or is it something more general? If you want to attract people who are, of a certain, come from a certain part of the world or whatever, like in the Caribbean area, if that's your target audience, you might have a group that, has a big picture that somehow embraces that sort of tradition or that sort of culture.
Okay.
So that you can attract, and that's really something to think about too, as opposed to making it your brand, make it, the Caribbean, whatever. And then you can talk about travel. Like, so since that's your brand, like I could go on forever, but since that's your brand, you could also why not have a retreat down there in the Caribbean, which is
that's that long term, like you're reading my mind.
Yay. Okay. Well,
yeah. Well, that's really good. So in that, like right now the group is called St. Nika Family. So I could see where that could be like Caribbean, inspired, skincare or what have you. So I see like other people have benefited from that because I see heads shaking and people writing notes and everything. So
look at all the heads are shaking. Go on to Facebook in the groups area and search for groups that have to do with the Caribbean and join them.
Right.
And see what those people are thinking about and talking about, like what turns them on. Search for the word skincare or body or body oil or dry skin in their search areas and see what's coming up.
Right. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to bow out. I do have another question and I'll just kind of see, I'm sure someone else might ask it too. So,
well, you can ask it there's the questions thread in the community if you want to post it in there.
Gotcha.
And I can just answer in there and, other people will have a chance to give you some feedback as well.
Right.
So thank you, Bernadette. This was fun. All right. Donna DeRosa. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
When you're talking about this VIP group, is this a paid membership that people would pay to be VIPs, or is it a group that you're cultivating to sort of be like power buyers?
Well, in her case, what I was thinking was one group, but the VIP buyers of the VIP premium membership would be paying for the other perks that the other people in the group don't get. So you have one group. Well, one thing I didn't say to her, which I meant to, and hopefully I can tell her later, is, and this is for others who have a product-based business, is you could, I know she sells to retailers, so you could even put some retailers on a recurring basis. So for example, your minimum order for your retailers is $250, every 2 months, let's say every 60 days, whatever it might be. Well, you could put that on repeat and send them an email, a week or so, 10 days before it hits, and let them place their order. And then that way they might order more than $250. They got to get to that minimum. That way you're paid. So when they place that order, they can switch things around. They can make it different from last time or what have you. You give them the ability maybe to use a shopping cart that has email attached to it, so you get a notice of the order, but there's no payment taken for it. So I know that wasn't your question, but I wanted to make sure I said that. But so Donna, I think if you want to avoid having more than one group of people who are similarly situated. So if she did a wholesale thing, I would definitely put them in another group because they're paying half the price of everybody else. And retailers have very different concerns than a mom just buying dry skin butter. But otherwise, do your best if you can to put people into one community so your attention can be focused and you are not so stratified and stressed out about managing a different community with the same exact focus. And also, it could confuse them about where they're supposed to go.
Right, but if you have a VIP group, they're paying to be VIPs?
Well, in her case, no. Well, yes, they're paying for the additional products they get as VIP members,
but not a membership fee
for access to the group. Like you can still be a VIP recurring member and not be in the group. Like you can just want the products, and I don't want to be in the group, not even on Facebook, but I want this stuff every quarter.
Right. Yeah. Because on my Relaxation Cafe side, I wanted to have a VIP section, but I wasn't going to make it like a paid thing. Just that if they join the email list, that they would get certain perks. Like there would be like, it's a meditation and aromatherapy site. So that then there might be like a free 5-minute meditation that the VIPs get every month that nobody else gets access to. Or they get access to product upgrades when they buy something. So if they buy an aromatherapy blend, they get like a little special bottle or something. But not necessarily to make them, to charge them $9.99 a year for that or something. But that then it just encourages them to buy more because they're the VIP and they get access to these things. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure. Tell me what's the, I'm hearing that they're getting something, they're VIPs, but they don't have to pay for it. Help me understand.
No. I mean, like how we pay to be in the Indie Business Network. We have an annual dues,
Right.
So not charging them an annual dues, just they go into this VIP, they're on the email list basically. They're called VIPs. So if they're on the email list, they get access to things that aren't necessarily on the website. So they have to buy them. But
right.
Other people don't have.
Right. And other people don't have access to it.
Right.
Well, I love that. I love that because, well, first of all, it's less work for you. And it also allows them to, buy something that other people don't have access to. The one thing that I would try to include is exposure to the opportunity to up-level themselves to the people in the greater community.
Right. Like, so this is this month's VIP gift or whatever. Okay.
And maybe even make it available to them for 24 hours. Like for 24, I know a lot of you have asked, you're not sure. So we decided to go ahead and make it about, or what you could do is if you have any kits left over from last month, you can say, okay, you guys can get the kits 2 months later. And that just kind of, I mean, it's a good thing. You have to be careful how you word it so they don't feel like second-class citizens.
Right.
But you could create it so that it's almost like a subscription box. Like they make 1,000 boxes, they ship them out. If they have 25 left over, they stick them up on the website. Or know who does this really well? Mandy Aftel. I don't know all the details. But I
perfumer?
She makes the perfumes. You can buy the last season's perfumes. They're way pricey. Way more than what people have bought them for when they were quote unquote in season, because they're super limited. Like there's only 5 left. So the price like sometimes can quadruple depending on what it is.
Right.
So even if you don't sell the whole subscription, there's still ways to sell the product, sometimes for even more than you got for it the first time.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay, so follow Donna DeRosa if you're hungry, because she teaches you how to cook everything with Mediterranean flair. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to make sure I run across here. All right, who else? Let's see. Terry, Cassandra, Karen, Carol, Brenda, Sandy. Anybody else have a question, a comment? Let me move this over here. Oh, oops. I pushed the wrong button. Okay, there we go. Whew. All right, let's see. We have some stuff going on. Did somebody raise their hand? Okay, we got some stuff going on in the chat room. Yay for laser coaching. Oh, good, Diana, you can create the videos ahead of time. What is the Shopify app? Okay, I think Bernadette mentioned one of them. I can't remember what she said, but the one that I was thinking about, Charge Rabbit. Linnea said Charge Rabbit. There was another one called Recharge. It's called Recharge. So if you search Recharge Shopify on Google, it'll pop up. There's other ones as well. Terry says, this is fantastic. I'm applying all the ideas. Okay, Diana, I can't unmute you, but go.
I had a question regarding an idea for myself as a recurring revenue business model. Now, I wanted to know what type of membership model I could start up based on my business.
Okay.
I make handmade soaps, body butters, and sugar scrubs. And based on the question that you asked before, my signature product is the goat's milk soap that I have, and possibly the unscented shea butter, because I know I have several clients that they buy from me quarterly.
Okay.
6 bars at a time and so forth, because they need that to make sure that their skin is maintained its healthiness. So how, aside from doing the app, what other things could I do centered around those products?
Besides
adding like the app to Shopify, because I use Shopify, so it's something that if a person says, well, yeah, I use it all the time, let me go ahead and just get it every 3 months, and I make sure I send it out.
Yeah.
What other things could I do outside of that?
For the membership?
Yes.
Or for a separate membership, or for membership for the people who are buying on subscription?
But, well, probably both, because we may have 2 different things that we want to do there.
Okay. For a separate membership, I don't know what else you do. Do you teach classes?
I don't, but I've had people that have come and asked me, well, I want to learn how to make soap. And I've never.
That's a clue.
Doing it.
Big clue there. Big clue.
Right.
Are you open to doing that since you know how to make it?
I am.
Okay.
Just getting started is the best thing.
Okay. Well, that's a question, right? Because I believe and I teach that whatever business we start, whatever new income stream we start, the first question is, does it fit your life? Right. And if you are not into teaching online or teaching in person, if that's what you're going to do, then don't do it.
Right.
I had a retail store because I thought it was a great idea.
I remember the story.
It was a great idea, and I hated my life, right? And I wasn't making money either, but I could have made it make money, but I hated it. So, but you look at Karen over there, she's in her store. She's getting ready to knock down a wall and add to her store, right? Because that's what she likes. So ask that question of yourself first, like, do you like teaching? Because here's the thing about teaching that I have learned. You guys, I am not a very patient person. I hope that comes as a surprise to you, actually, but I am not a very patient person. And when you are a teacher, people will ask the most ridiculous questions that are ridiculous to you. Mm-hmm. Like, because how come you don't know that? You don't know where shea butter comes from? Like, how do you even get to be 30 years old and not know that? So one of the things, Karen's laughing, it's true. It's one of the things that you have to be prepared for is to answer every question like it's the best question you ever got. And I learned this from one of my teachers who I was in the class and somebody asked, I was like, how do you not know that? But, my face was like, cheerful and happy like I always am. But she said, that is a really good question. I'm so glad you asked that. And I was so impressed that I was like, I'm going to just memorize that. Like, I'm going to memorize that. Like, every time someone asks a question, good question backwards, that was a great question. I'm glad you asked. So that's a really big part of teaching because people are afraid to ask questions. They don't want to look stupid. They think they should already know. And if you don't become skilled at making them feel comfortable, especially in front of other people, so the next person will actually raise their hand and ask a question, then you're really, if you don't like that process or you can't make yourself accustomed to it, then it's going to be very difficult. The other thing about teaching is, especially if you're teaching physically, you got a lot of stuff to lug around, a lot of stuff to lug around. But if you do it online, right, you still got to lug stuff into your teaching area. Then you have the issue of how the lighting looks and you get an overhead shot. And so you have some technology things that need to be dealt with. But the great thing about that is once it's set up, it's set up. Like once you know how to set it up, you throw the camera thing down, you put the light here, you know where everything goes. And the other thing about teaching, again, you're going to have to be careful if you're teaching soap making too, because it is so widely available on the internet. Like there are so many free classes on how to make soap, it makes people's heads spin. So your challenge, I think, would be to organize the content in a way that served as some kind of path for them. Like, here, are you going to teach business owners? Totally different teaching and classes than you're going to offer if you're just offering people who want to just learn how to do it. They're not going to want to pay as much. So if your target audience for your classes can be new entrepreneurs, or maybe entrepreneurs who already have a business but they want to add soap and they want to make it themselves, then you can sort of narrow your niche target around people who need something. The reason for soap making is more than just knowing how to do it, because one of the things that's important about recurring is obviously they have to have the need over and over again. Okay, so if I learn how to make soap from you one time, and maybe I'll come back and take the class twice because I missed something or because I want to bring my girlfriend next time, but that's not really recurring. Like, I'm not going to come back every month for a new class. But if you did something virtual where you wrapped it around business principles, and we're going to teach you how to start a soap making business, that's a whole different ball of wax, but it's also something that you could have an annual membership around. So hopefully that helps. Does that help? Ooh, there's a cat. Hi, Brenda's cat. Does that help, Diana?
Yes, in regards to teaching, yes.
Yes. Okay, so the other, did I miss something? What did I miss?
The product-based membership type.
Okay. Okay, so, but you said besides products, so I thought you said besides products. No?
Well, you had asked me whether my focus was on products, but you had asked whether I was open to teaching.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Did I go off on a tangent? Okay, pull me back. Pull me back. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, so for products, well, I had a discussion with Bernadette, which may have been helpful to you. One thing you could do is, and I wish I could remember the name of this business, but I can't. I'm not sure she's still in business, but I haven't looked, so I don't know. But there are some businesses in different product arenas who are starting only with subscriptions. Like, you cannot buy the product unless you subscribe. And there's like a theme, for example. There's a theme, and there might be that you don't know, you find out in advance, the surprise that's coming out, for the next subscription box or whatever. I'll give you an example. I do remember someone, she had babies though, and she stopped her business. Sugar, I'll remember in a minute, but every month by a certain day, you had to place your order for the next box. Now, this was built on old technology. Today, I think it would be more of a subscription, but she kind of did it manually because this was a little while ago. She did it manually. I think she was selling on Etsy too. It was Etsy, where you could go, and every month she would shut down the shopping cart. So you had until, June 17th or May 17th, whatever, every month to place your order. So she knew exactly how many kits to make every month. She did not have any extra ingredients. She had no extra packaging or anything. She always kept her manufacturing to a minimum because she only filled orders that were actually placed, and they were willing to wait 2 weeks to get them. And every month was different. So that's an idea as well. And if you're only making soap, you could have something like a Soap of the Month club. Do you do soap logs? A lot of people do soap logs.
I do that for the people that want to buy in bulk. So some people that buy by the dozen or the 2 dozen, it's not necessarily an offer.
Okay. Well, you could turn that into a subscription.
Okay.
You could turn that into a subscription. If people are already doing it, then it's an idea that maybe they would do it on subscription. So every month there's a theme, and maybe every month you don't make the same soap twice. I don't know if your manufacturing is set up for that. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Like, there's, it depends on what kind of business you want. Like, there's something to be said for having a line of products. Mm-hmm. It's lemon and lime and rose every month. This is all we make. We can teach people how to do it, so I don't have to be there to make it. I don't have to make anything up every month, and everybody buys the same thing all the time. And then every now and then we have our holiday special and our Mother Day stuff, right? But you could set up your business so that it was totally or partially You can buy our stuff, or you can join our VIP club. And here's the benefits of our VIP club. Number one, you buy our stuff at a 10% discount, right? Okay, so you can buy all the regular stuff. But number two, you also get every month our amazing soap. But surprise, every month there's a theme, right? There's a theme. So every month it's different. You get a log. You know, we teach you how to cut the log. So you get a whole log. It lasts you and your family the whole month. I don't know anybody else that's doing that. So for your theme, like, get into the heads of your customers or your members. What do they care about? Is it like self-care? Is it family? Is it whatever? And so for your theme for the month, that could be the discussion in your community that month. Maybe let's say your theme is vacations. Like it's August, it's family vacation. September's back to school. So what do? You have an educational expert. If your customers are moms of, you know, kids in school, I don't know who your target audience is, but you figure that out. You could have an educational expert come in and talk to them about how to get their kids ready for back to school, how to organize back to school better, what presents should you buy for teachers for back to school day, or, you know, what have you. What do you feed your kids, you know, instead of the awful school lunches? Like, so what you're doing is you're showing that you care about them beyond just the product, but the product is what's getting them to be a part of your community, and they're enjoying that, but you're also teaching them other things and empowering them in other ways. And ultimately what that does oftentimes is it gives you new business ideas, because then they start asking you other questions like, well, can you do this or can you do that? And you're like, you know, I think I can. And so then you're able to deliver to them things that they ask for that don't specifically relate to just the product that you make. And that's a nice button to push with people, because we're humans. Like, we bathe and we need soap, but that's not all we care about. So to understand the psychographics of the people you're serving, you want to talk to them about stuff that's not just the stuff you make or the stuff you sell. So let's see. Anybody have a service-based business? Because I have a service-based business. I've been doing that for 20 years. So if you have a service-based business, I want to encourage you to ask your questions and participate in the challenge as well. And, you know, there's nothing that says you can't have both a service and a product that you offer. Now, this is something that is really smart, because, you know, customers, buyers, especially, retail stores, people are fickle, right? They're fickle. So if you put all your eggs in one basket for a long period of time, you're taking quite a risk. So something that you can think about is, how can you combine a product with a service that you offer? So people who offer services, a great product to think about is something like a planner, or, you know, monthly webinar type classes. Donna DeRosa, I think, is talking about doing some meditation audios or videos and things that people would be interested in that aren't just related to the product that you sell. So I see some activity going on in the... Oh, Bernadette says her second question was around services paired with products. Good, girl. I guess I'm reading your mind again. What can I say? Oh, here she says, JoanMoraes.com is a good example. Okay, Joan Moraes is a person who teaches like people how to make really, really high-end, usually hair care products, maybe other products as well. Bernadette says she went out to, she lives in California. She flew out to do classes with her when she used to do it in person. Oh, she doesn't do it in person anymore. She is now only online, but in person was a lot of work. She was great at it though. Okay, and then Karen is so tickled by this. Karen was tickled by something at 1:52 p.m. I don't remember what that was. Let's see. Terry says, I came in today not having a clue what to offer health services. I love the VIP idea. I could offer monthly mini courses. Yes, you could. With the webinar and Q&A, as you suggested, around so many topics. Yes. Diet theory alone would take me over an entire year. You ladies rock. Thank you. Okay, Terry, well, thank you for that feedback. I think that's, you know, health and fitness, dietary sorts of things, nutrition. You know, there's just absolutely no end to where something like that could take you in a service-based business. So thank you for sharing that, Terry. Hey, Cassandra down there, and let's open up Donna. Donna has a comment. Hi, Donna. Uh-oh, I can't unmute you. There you go.
Hi, I got it. This is not a question, just for anyone who's thinking of having classes and they're afraid they're not going to have time. Like I'm taking a class right now from the Nova Studio, from Lori Nova, and it's a perfume class. And when I'm watching it, it's a video course that you get, and she obviously did it live once, recorded it, and now she sells it on her site. So that's an option too. If you want to teach something that you know, something in your business, you can do a big live webinar kind of session where you have people asking questions like this, and then just record it and then offer it for a certain amount of money on your website later, because it's still perfectly useful information. She doesn't have to do it live every time she wants to offer it now. So just a suggestion.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, if you can collaborate with someone on that basis as well, because you can be the person that offers the class for her. So for example, one of Lori's classes that she offers is me teaching. So I think we phased it out because it got kind of old, but we had a little commission split. You know, I taught the class, she recorded it, and then she was selling. She might actually still be, every now and then I see a tweet from her that she's selling my class. So maybe it's still out there. The commission structure folded after a while though, because after a while it's just, you know, she had to lower the price because I think it was from like 10 years ago. But anyway, that's another way to generate income as well. For Terry, who was asking about, you know, the diet and the health related things, is that you can teach classes for other people and you can earn income doing that as well. Because even though other people may have the same expertise as you, number one, they may not feel like teaching all those classes. I think we talked with someone earlier who was like, yeah, I'd love to teach, but I kind of go out in the field 6 months out of the year. So they might not feel like it. It might not be their thing. They may not be as good a teacher as you, or they may just not have time or what have you. So there are lots of different ways when you are an expert in a particular area. And let me just say this, even if you're not selling services, you need to be an expert at what you're doing. Like you need to be able to say, I am an expert soap maker. Right? You don't have to say, I have a soap maker certification. Like you don't need to have a diploma on your wall, but you do need to be able to say I'm an expert at this. And why I'm an expert at this? Because I've been doing it for this long, and because people have been buying it for 100 years, and you know, you are an expert at it. You understand the chemistry, you understand the whatever. Diet as well, nutrition, health, like what are your qualifications? Now, that may be a little bit different because in some states you actually do have to have a license to sell anything related to fitness or health or you know, some nutritional type stuff. So you want to be able to check your state regulatory or your local regulatory requirements for something like that. I mean, I actually recently read that a woman was actually sued. I think this was Florida. She was giving health-related expert advice on the internet, and she had big followers, and she didn't have any sort of a certification or degree or whatever they had to have in whatever state she was in. And she was sued probably by all the practitioners who did have the certification, right? I don't know that, but I think that's probably the case. And she lost. So she actually had to shut her business down. And I actually ended up Googling her because I was curious about that. And, you know, lawsuits take a long time to percolate. So it was probably filed like 5 years ago, just recently resolved. But when I went to her website or Facebook page or something, I saw certification information. So, you know, it's something to think about. It doesn't apply to all industries, but it does apply to some. So, of course, we all have to know whatever the regulatory issues are with whatever it is that we're selling. So let's see. Anybody else? I'm looking for hands. I see something in the chat. Let me see what that is. Thank you, Donna. I have to run for now. Bye, Lola, if you're leaving or you've already left. All right, Sandy is here. Let me see who else is here. Brenda, Terry, anybody else have a question or a comment? All systems are go, whatever it is you'd like to share or ask. All right, Linnea, let's see. Hey, Linnea.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
And it's Lene, like Renee.
I'm sorry, Linnea.
It's okay. Mom got
my cousin's
fancy.
name is Linnea, so sorry.
It's okay.
That's where my guess came from, Linnea. Okay.
So the video I did with my box unboxing, in my accent, I was horrified, but that's how I talk. That has been shared a lot, like 7 times, and for me, that's a lot. And over 250 views, which again is a lot for me. So
was this done yesterday?
Yes.
Wow. Is this the first video you've done ever or in a while?
It's the first one I've done where I've talked. Like I've shown bath bombs, fizzing, and I've done just a couple little things, but nothing like this. So that shows me that I need to do more. So I need a resource of equipment. Like yesterday when you posted about your little lapel mic, yeah, mine's coming in a couple days. I ordered
did you order it?
Yeah, it was under $20. Why wouldn't you do that?
It's $18.99. It's the awesome thing. I'll tell you guys about it. I have a box around here somewhere.
So that's my thing. Like, I don't know what else I need besides my phone and my lapel mic. What's a good resource to get to know, like, oh, this stand works, but this stand doesn't work, or this light works, but this light is really horrible?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Anything by Social Media Examiner .com is going to be good. TechCrunch, TechCrunch. I would start with those two. Maybe HubSpot, HubSpot.com. I would start with Social Media Examiner simply because their target audience is people like us. TechCrunch and HubSpot, their target audience is a little bit, more enterprise businesses, but they still have good stuff. But I would start with Social Media Examiner. There's probably going to be something really useful on their website. So just do a search. Look up the word lavalier, because if they're talking about that, they might be talking about other things as well. Cameras, video, teleprompters. Look up those sorts of words, and you're likely to come up with, several blog posts that will be really helpful to you. You can also do a search of Social Media Examiner on YouTube. They don't have a very big YouTube channel because they really just started keeping it, but there might be some good stuff on there as well. But I would really start with their blog because they do a great job and they're really, really reliable with good stuff.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm glad y'all like my accent.
Well, and and I see you, Diana. 1 second. Let me just say, Lene, because I know your name correctly now. I'm really glad that you spoke up, because here's the thing. I don't know how long you've been thinking about engaging your target members in that way, but how long was your video?
About 1:40 seconds.
1:40 seconds, 7 shares. Were any of those shares you?
No, and actually another friend posted my website and did a little, it's actually a parent. My real job is I'm a 2nd grade teacher. But she is a former parent, and she posted, you should go check out Lene's website. She's a great person, blah, blah, blah. And then that got shared too, and it was just a link to my website.
See, and so you spoke to people and they heard your voice.
Yes, I gotta show my voice. The whole Facebook Live thing petrifies me. Yeah. I don't know how Holly Port does it.
Yeah. Well, you know what? She does it because she's done it. Like, the only way to become, it looks like she's done it for a long time, right? Why? Because she's done it for a long time.
Right.
Like, none of us starts out, I don't think, most of us, I'll say, we don't start out being all excited about, how we look on a camera. And we're used to this too, like, especially as women, we're all women here. Like, who of us isn't used to being in a room with women where someone comes on TV or whatever and everybody goes, ew, like, why is she wearing those shoes? Or, look at her. Like, and it's catty, but it happens. And we've seen it happen to other people. So, like, what are they going to say when I come on? And it's a challenge. But here's the thing, and this is what I always tell myself, because I get really nervous when I'm going on camera. And people don't believe me, but it's true. Like, I start to sweat. Like, I have to turn the air conditioning down in my house like 2 hours before, because I will literally be sweating. And there's videotapes of me normally with my members, because I kind of let my hair down a little bit more with them, where I'm literally like this. Like, and my assistant will text me, girl, you need to dab. You know, you need to dab, because it's all just, you know, I'm serious. Like, I've been exercising or running or something. I get really nervous. I'm nervous about my hair. Like, I got this gray hair. Should I dye it? Like, everybody's going to know. I've been in business 20 years and it shows. I don't know. So there's all these things that go through my head. But here's the thing I want all of you, if you struggle with this, to remember, is that if people don't care, they won't watch. And you don't care about them anyway. Like, don't invest your time or your energy in them. It's not a bad thing. It's just you're not their thing. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to make money in your business, you have to use video. You have to. There is just now there may be some exceptions to that rule. Like, if you're the only person in the world selling this one product that everyone wants, maybe you don't have to. But if you're selling something that everyone else is selling, and everybody is selling something that everybody else is selling, 9.5 times out of 10, you're going to want to talk to people about it. And think about yourself as a consumer. You want somebody who cares enough to come and show you how to do it, show you how to use the product, or teach you how to, you know, have better, you know, dietary habits, or whatever it is that you do, whatever your thing is, to be able to teach that to people. If they weren't interested in learning, they wouldn't show up. So once they show up, and we had someone, and I'm going to call her out. I'm not going to say her name, but if she watches this video, she's going to know exactly who I'm talking about. She came into the group yesterday in our community, and she said, people were asked because she did a video, and people said, that was just really awesome. And, you know, do you do this all the time? And she's like, no, I did it a while ago, but I didn't get any engagement. Okay. So what did I do? Because this is what I do. I stalk all of you, just so you know. I went over to her page, and I saw a total of 6 videos from 2015. So what do you think I said? Like, I went right back in the group and was like, no, I'm calling you out, because you only did 6. And the very first one you did, 3 people said, great job, do more, and asked you questions. 3 people asked you questions on your very first video, right? So you can't tell me there was no engagement. You stopped. You stopped. And so I think we have to call ourselves out. Like, if you're going to stop and then 5 years later you don't remember that you stopped, like, you've totally rewritten your business history. You stopped doing it. That's why people aren't paying attention. So remember that, like, you know, it's whatever is happening in your business and my business is a direct or indirect result of something that we did or didn't do. It's not them. There's bazillions of people who buy soap. There are bazillions of people who want to learn about aromatherapy and diet and fitness and how to get recurring revenue. Like, you have to show up. You have to figure out how to show up. You don't have to be there 24/7. You got kids, you're married, you got a life. I get all that. You have to sleep. We have to do all that stuff. You have to figure it out, though. Because if you want to break through the noise, you have to do what other people won't do. And video is a competitive advantage, because, you know, some percentage of your competitors are worried about their lipstick color instead of doing a video to talk to their people. And your competition is not, if they're not doing it, then you don't even have to compete. Like, it's not even competition, because they're not showing up. And a lot of people, you guys, they're not showing up. They may show up for 6 times in 2015. Well, call it what it is. That's not showing up. It's not going to deliver recurring sales to you. If you're not recurring, the sales won't recur. Now, again, you don't have to be the physical recurring all the time, but you have to figure out how to make it recur for them, so they will want to make it recur for you. Does that make sense? Okay, it looks like we had a raised hand here. I see a raised hand. Let me see.
That was me, I think.
Was that you? Is that you again? Okay.
Yeah, no, because I wanted to give Lene kudos. You had how many views? 200 and what? Girl, you went viral. Consider yourself viral.
I think it's great. 250.
I loved her video, because granted, I mean, you weren't in it, but you were talking. You know how many people want to just do that? And you did that, and you had, I think it was there's so many people that were responding to you that probably never bought from you, obviously. And the people that cheered you on, you need to do more of those. I mean, that was just my comment, because I've done videos. I think I did one. I think that's the one I did in the bathroom. It kind of looked like I was naked.
Yes.
But
Yes. Yes.
I did have a towel on.
Yes. Yes.
But I've been doing videos for 5 years. My first video bombed, like totally bombed. I looked like a robot. I had a paper up here. The phone was. So, I mean, you have to do it. Nobody watched that video. Hell, I deleted the video. And that's an encouragement to anybody on here. You have to do them. Even if it's not your face, if it's your hands or you just talking. I think, was it Donna Rosa did the one with the nachos?
Yes.
Oh, my God. I want to make those nachos.
Then we like all go to the store and buy purple chips, right?
Yes.
With a certain type of cheese.
But
She was like telling us what type of cheese to use because it melts really well. It's like, wait,
really?
Do I have that kind of cheese? Yeah. Yeah. And so that's a really good point because, yes.
I say that for encouragement. I've been doing videos for 5 years, and I think somebody made the comment, oh, I wish to be like you when I grow up. I was like, you can. You just got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
My first one bombed. And I mean, I've done videos with my phone just like this. The lighting is bad. My hair is a hot mess. And I get sales that day.
Yeah.
Or I don't get sales, but you have to just keep doing it. And you'll get comfortable as you do it. But that video, I love that video, that unboxing. That I loved it. And you can see other people loved it. So do more of it. And you just said you see people like it. So do more of it.
All right, Lene, you have your marching orders from Diana over here. I know, she's like, oh, Diana has spoken, honey. Busy. Pull out that camera. When that lapel mic comes, we want to see another video, maybe even before. Let's see. It looks like we have a question. Oh, Sandy says, thank you, DM, for that. We have to show up. Yes, and it's hard. Okay, so I'm going to tell you this, because I'm going to take this video down in a while. I don't tell a lot of people this. I don't like to share this. But I think we all struggle with this enough that I'm going to put it out there just as one time, but you're not going to hear this everywhere. I had surgery on one of my eyes 2 years ago. And for those of you who've known me for a long time, you could go back and you could probably pick the month I had it because I stopped doing video. I stopped doing it. And I had to stop for a while just for medical reasons because, I was, you have surgery, you have to be out of commission for a minute. But even after that, I didn't want to come back. I didn't want to come back because I was like, people will notice my eye looks funny now. It looks different. I know y'all looking like, what is it? I don't know. But here's the thing, and I talked with some of my close friends and they're like, we can't even tell. I'm like, y'all just saying that. You can tell because I can tell, right? Of course I can tell. But here's the thing. People don't care. People do not care. Like I just told Lene about the best value she's probably going to hear about all week for her business. She doesn't care about anything else. People may notice your gray hair. They may notice your accent, Lene. Like she's got an accent. Well, where are you from, Lene? I don't know. Wherever you're from probably makes sense that you have an accent, right? So people will get that. It's not like you're the, the anchor of the evening news and you have to have a certain type of, accent to relate to all of America. You don't. So we all have a reason not to do this. We all have a reason not to do it, whether it's a good reason or a bad reason. But if you want to be in business, whatever reason it is, it's a bad reason because you need it. And I don't ever want to hear anyone complain that there's no engagement, they're not generating sales, they're not generating an audience if they're not doing video. Because that's my answer. It's like, are you doing video? No. Well, then you know what? This consultation is over and you get a refund. Because you have to do that kind of work. You have to, whatever technology is delivering, whatever pieces of technology are delivering viewers, target members to you. And this changes, right? Because technology changes. In 2015, when that person did those videos, nobody was really watching video that much. Like it has exploded since then. But back then, everybody didn't have a phone, right? It wasn't convenient for everybody to watch a video. You couldn't do subtitles. You couldn't make yourself even look really good, right? Because the technology wasn't there yet. But now it's there. So as we move forward, we have to keep up with what is working. And it's going to change, which means, yes, next year it may not be video, it may be some other kind of thing. Well, if that's what's working, we have to know what's working, and we have to make sure that we take time in our businesses to learn that and keep up with it. Lene says, I will do it. Okay, Lene says, okay, everybody, I get it. Okay, Donna DeRosa says the unboxing video was great, and it goes to show you don't need to be in the video. You can show the product instead. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's see. Everybody is, I'm just looking around here to see if I see any hands. Bernadette raised her hand. I don't know. Bernadette, if you want to unmute yourself, I don't know if you want to say anything. Can't tell.
Yes, I do.
Okay, yes. Okay.
So this is great, and the thing that came to mind just quickly is like, is it Star Wars where Lucas or whatever his name is, like how they say the order of the movies were created because the technology wasn't there at the time for him to do the things that he wanted to do. Yeah. And that's just like a great reminder, like you talking about giving these ideas, and I'm like, oh, well, I did this back then, but it was more labor intensive, but technology has advanced where you can do so many things simpler. Yeah. But what I wanted to touch on quickly were like two things, clarifying for the first points because based on what Diana asked and then also what Donna asked. And I'm having an issue in the group because I'm always like, is this Donna DeRosa or is this Donna Maria? I have to always. So just to understand, and for those of us that are product-based or looking at VIP or recurring streams, we talked about two levels. One was putting people on a reorder scheme, whether that be through ChargeRabbit or Recharge, and there could be a slight discount associated with that. That was one option. The second option was VIP kits that's tied to a VIP level membership that is purchased, and they get premium priority access to that. All of these people are then engaged in our Facebook group. So we're not creating 3 separate Facebook groups. Everyone is in that one Facebook group that we can engage. We can promote the reorder option, and we can also promote our VIP kits, which those people that are either reordering either can then also help us to promote. Do I have that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. And when that happens, the product becomes the marketing.
Good. And then the thing that drills down even further, like when you were speaking with Diana, that applies to many of us, is that for VIP kits, we can set a time frame. They can be based on a specific line of products. Like for myself, I have standard products that I offer. I also have the test kitchen that I do like one-off things with, but they can be standard or they can be themed, where it's like, you know, rose for this month or what have you. Pick your poison because they're both working. There's both work involved with both of them. Okay, and then the other thing that I wanted to talk about, or to just clarify, was the services, because you touched on that with Diana and Donna around if you have a product, right? So for Diana, we're in the same industry. Tying that to services. So for example, I have the Learning Lab, and it's a ton of content, and I'm working to redesign that front end, that side that is WordPress based, because it has so much content on there, and it's grouped by categories like you spoke about. How do you have any like quick thoughts on, you know, how we can help, I guess, that buzzword that's monetized? Because I've had people that say, you know, okay, I may not want to teach. Diana might not really want to be, you know, teaching soap making classes, but, you know, if I have recipes, guides, whatever, how can we look at ways to create revenue from those things? Even it's like, hey, here's a $2 download that has my favorite herbs and how you can use them in a few recipes or something like that.
Okay. Well, obviously you can sell it as a one-off. But you can also do a monthly PDF just for your VIP premium people.
Okay.
So you can include it in that. What I would encourage you to do, and I think that's the answer, and you can spread it out over a period of time, so you can actually just make it, it's part of the membership. And, you know, the teaching directly from you is part of the membership. So what you might do is you teach directly to your premium people behind this firewall at your website. When you come into your community where everyone is, you're doing less teaching and more connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you could have a third party guest come in to the community, and for maybe 20 minutes once a month, you could just interview someone, Caribbean lifestyle. I don't know what it would be for you, but whatever they're interested in, which you're going to continue to learn because you're in the community with them. You could even ask them. I'm thinking about doing a class on or some sort of training on Caribbean lifestyle. What are you interested in? I don't know if that's a good question, but you can ask them. They will tell you.
Right.
They will tell you what they're interested in. And then you obviously want to, in the poll, make sure you leave space for them to add their own suggestions, just in case there's a great idea you haven't thought of to put down as an option. And then the next month, you say, you guys said you were interested in this. And so we're going to do this on next Thursday at 3:00. And so that can be something where you bring a guest in, so it's not you. So like the high level is the VIP with you, right? And then the guest, pertaining to whatever the purpose of the group is, you have the guest come in and talk about that.
Okay. And so then that would be a separate VIP level membership from the kits. Is that what that ends up being?
No, what I'm thinking of is you have your Facebook group members.
Okay.
That's anybody, whether they've bought anything or not. Now you could have a group only for people who bought something, or only for people who buy a certain amount every year. But let's just, stick with what we have here. You have a community that revolves around the Caribbean sort of lifestyle thing, idea, whatever that may be. Anybody can come and join.
Okay.
And you can ask them questions on the front end. You know that, right? So you get 3 questions on the front end. So they're in the community. And you're talking about your product. You're talking about Caribbean lifestyle. Yes, you do talk about your products. You ask them questions about your products. You ask them to tell you, guys, you've tried the body butter thing. I got an email the other day from someone who said, like, it was grainy. Have you ever experienced that? Just asking they'll go, no, she must have been putting it here. Get some conversation around that. That's an opening to talk about your products. Now, for the VIP, what you have at your website is a link where they can buy the premium membership. Become a premium, say, Nika Test Kitchen member, or whatever it is that you call. You can become a premium member over here. And then you have the things that come with that. 10% off your purchase, the VIP kit, or the special thing that you get every quarter, a meeting, a special interactive training or Caribbean lifestyle training, or whatever, with me, test kitchen samples in every single order, opportunity to attend private retreat with me in New Orleans, or, that sounds great. So those are, but then you put them all in the same community so they can all see what's going on, but you only deliver that privately. So you might have a private email list where you set up a meeting like this and you tell people about it in the community, just like I did. But you got to come to the meeting in order to actually get the good stuff. And what we're dealing with here, which is people are sharing business ideas, and people who aren't here are going to have 24 hours to listen to it, and it's over. Right.
Yeah, I think that's awesome then. Okay, so it's kind of like up leveling, and I think, Diana, that would be great for you too, because then it's like, oh, we're getting these products out, but then that's creating a higher level of community to steer people to us, and then also recommend, like, hey, you could buy the products, but if you buy this membership, here's all of this other stuff you get access to.
Yes.
Okay. That definitely makes sense. And then those one-off things, that you could test, from analytics and so on. The last question around that is, because you do service-based, how do you, and like, if you don't pay that membership, you're not in that indie beauty group anymore. So,
it's indie business, but that's okay.
Indie business, yes. Yeah. So sorry. How do you cleanse people? Does that become an automated thing where it's like, if they don't, maintain this membership, then you just have to make a log, like, every month I'm going through and, purging these people, or
out of the Facebook group?
Right. But those, or that email list that you mentioned, to have a specific email list for them as well.
Okay. That's a really good question. So let's talk about a little bit of technology. We do it manually.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll my eyes. because it's manual. But it's worth it though, because community is worth it. Like I would do anything to maintain a community around my brand. I encourage everyone to. Here's how we do it on the back end. It's a little bit strung together, and I will tell you there are no systems that I know of that string all this together in a beautiful package.
Okay.
So we have a couple things connected. Essentially, when you join, you get an automated email that says, here's how to join our private community. So here's the instructions. So people can click on that link, follow those instructions. Then they're led over to the group where they click the join button, right?
Okay.
Okay. So if the membership is not renewed, we have set up a system that lets us know that the payment didn't go through. And some of you who've been members, you've gotten phone calls and emails from me. The payment didn't go through, right? The payment doesn't go through. We have that an automated way for that to show up on a Facebook group dashboard. So if that payment is not made, that dashboard will show the people whose memberships expired. And once a month or however long it is, my assistant goes in there and manually pulls them out.
Okay.
So there's different back-end ways to make that happen with different systems. You know, it's just a matter of figuring out what's going to work on your like Shopify platform. I use WordPress. They're different. But today there are places like Teachable and Kajabi, which are two that I would recommend you look at if you're thinking about this, that will automate what I described for you. You're still going to have to manually pull them in and out of the group, because you can't automate that. Facebook doesn't allow that to be automated. You have to do it manually. But there's ways that you can set up payment reminders so that when a payment doesn't go through and it's not updated and you know the membership just isn't renewed, then you can go in manually and pull them out. Okay,
awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, there's you know, and here's the thing too. A lot of people are looking for everything to be automated. There's especially with recurring payments. I will tell you the biggest challenge with recurring revenue is failed credit cards, because they expire and because there's fraud on them, and you may not, and because they also get maxed out. So we don't know any of them. Well, we can sometimes tell if it's expired, obviously, because you can look in your own system and you can see the card that was last used. Usually you have the card type, you usually have sometimes the last 4 digits, and you usually have the expiration date, the month and year. So you can usually tell when it's expired, but you can't tell if there's been fraud on it, or if they just closed it, or if they maxed out. You don't know that. So you have to, you know, figure out a way on the back end to deal with that. And this is a reason to consider a quarterly membership, because if it's a monthly membership, this happens every month. Every month, people's memberships are going to ding their card and it's not going to go through. But if it's a quarterly membership, you only have to deal with it on a quarterly basis. Now, I'm not suggesting that quarterly is better than monthly, but when you think about how you're going to structure your recurring revenue, it is a consideration.
And for for those of us that have to come up with the product or the service, it gives us time to promote it, and then also to deliver and so on. So you're not like overspending on resources.
Yes. Yeah, I like the quarterly idea for some memberships. I do like that idea, particularly for products. But you know, the great thing about entrepreneurship today and recurring revenue is there's so many different ways to do it. Like you can, you know, I know someone who's making a ton of money on a, I think it's $1.99 a month. Like it's a prayer group.
Oh, wow.
$1.99 a month. And I think she had over 100,000 people in there. Now, here's what happened to her. Her name is Asherita. If you want to look her up, I don't know how many other Asheritas there are in the world, but Asherita. If you type in Asherita and Christian, you'll probably come up, because that was her faith. Not only did she grow this thing over time to all these people, but she also shut it down temporarily, because now she's gotten offers to write books. So like prayer journal books and stuff like that. So anyway, kind of interesting. $1.99 or thing, because I subscribed to it. And I can't, I think it was $1.99. Yeah. And I subscribed right when she got her book contract, though. So as soon as I subscribed, she refunded my money and went, oh, we're not doing this anymore. I'm writing books, though. Go buy my books. So
Diana is out here like, ooh, what $1.99 product can I come up with? Diana, let's talk. We'll figure it out.
Well, you know, my wheels are turning too.
Right.
100,000 people and $1.99 a month? Oh,
yeah,
no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, once you get to 100,000 people, like I show up all day. Like you can talk to me, we pray all day. You know, but obviously when you start it, you know, $1.99 seems so insignificant that a lot of people, their first impression will be like, well, it can't be all that good. Like it's $1.99. But I think,
$2 million in 1 year.
With engagement, though, you overcome that with engagement. You overcome that by showing how excited you are about the content, how it's working for you, how it's transformed you, and how there's been transformation in other people's lives. So similarly situated people see that. In her case, you know, in the prayer group, and the morning prayer thing that I get from Asherita has changed my whole life and saved my marriage and whatever else is going on. Well, if I have the same faith and the same problem, I'm going to pay $1.99 and give that a try.
And with what you said, Donna Maria, there's probably all this front end work while she was building up to 100,000 people, so that last year's prayer might be the same prayer that goes out, you know, today, you know, so.
Not surprising at all. Yeah. And then of course she had little mini prayer workbooks and stuff that I think you can still buy those on the website, like little downloads. Some of them are free, some of them she charges for, but just so many different ways that you can do it. And it's a great convenience for people to be able to have something that they can rely on. And this is why apps are so great. Like, do you guys, I have the Calm app on my phone and on my wrist. You know, they have the sleep stories and they have the every day there's a Calm meditation. It's awesome. It's called calm.com, I think is their website. But I know it's there for me. I can meditate whenever I want to all day. I still haven't listened to a sleep story all the way through because they put me to sleep. Like, I don't know the end to any of the sleep stories. And audio today, you know, podcasting, you guys know if you can figure out how to insert audio into your business. Donna DeRosa mentioned that she has. It's an extremely powerful thing to be able to do that. But in conclusion, I'll say, listen, what was the name of the group? What was the name of what group, Vanessa? The prayer thing? Oh, look, somebody posted it. Finding Joy in His Word with Asherita. That's her Facebook page. There you go. Diana says, how long will the replay be up? About 24 hours or something like that. Vanessa Phipps says, yes. I spelled her name wrong. It's Asharita, Asharita, if you want to go, you know, poke around and see what she's been up to. But if nobody has any other questions, we can go ahead and conclude. I want you guys to remember, today we are living in a community economy. It is all about community around your brand. It is not how great your product is. It is not how great your service is, although both are great. We all know they're great. What it is about is what the community says about it to each other and what they say about it to other people. That's what people are looking at, and that is the magic, because when you start having people talking about not just your product, but the community, then people will come just to check that out, because people want to connect with other people. They want to be affirmed, and that means being surrounded by people who think like they think. Now, there's obviously some downsides to that. From a personal perspective, we don't always want to be around people who think like we think. However, there is a great deal of safety and security in choosing selective places where you are safe and warm and cared for. You know, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, almost all of them, except for shelter, deal with belonging and affirmation of oneself and acceptance. And and that's why I think Facebook groups and communities like that, like Mighty Networks and other ones that you can set up, that is why they're so popular. And I think as we move forward in business, it's going to become even more important that we have an identifiable community around our brand, because if you look at what's happening, and I posted a little bit about this yesterday, just in a quick update with a picture of Mark Zuckerberg. So if you want to scroll through the site and look for that at our group, you can. What is happening is that it's almost like a bubble is going to burst at some point. Like, I am so tired, as are so many people I talk to, of getting information from this one person, and they're JV'd with all these other people, and they are also affiliated with all these other people, and then they all add me to their list, and I just keep getting the same stuff from all these connected people. And it's kind of like, at some point it's going to have to end, if people just unsubscribe from all of it. And also, if you look at what Facebook is doing, and Facebook owns Instagram, make sure you stay on top of what Facebook is doing with Messenger and WhatsApp. Because have you not noticed, when you go into any community on Facebook, and you can either like or you can reply, have you noticed the new message button? Have you noticed the new message button? So you can like it, go into any group and see, you can like someone's comment, you can reply to their comment, and very new, you can message them. Okay? Also, look at what's happening on your business pages. Those messages are starting to become a big deal. Facebook tells, like, Donna Maria only responds 30% of the time. And they remind me too, you haven't responded to messages. I'm like, okay, I'll do it. So, make sure you're keeping your eye on what is happening where this private messaging sort of thing is concerned, because Facebook is in a lot of hot water for sharing people's information without their permission. And what they say they're doing now is inputting all of these new systems into their back end so that our messages are more encrypted, and it's easier for us to get in touch with each other one-on-one and in small groups. Okay, groups have been on Facebook for over a decade. Did anybody know about groups a decade ago? I don't know anyone who did. I had a group, because I don't know how I discovered it, but I made a little group. I had a book club. 2009 was the first time I discovered it. And I remember thinking, why don't people use this? Like, this is awesome. But it was because Facebook wasn't really promoting it. That's why. So when you see Facebook making these little changey, twitchy things, and you start seeing that message button, because I've clicked on it by accident. Like, I thought I was hitting reply, but then this message thing popped up, and I was like, what is that? And then I collapsed it, and I'm like, oh, I hit message. Well, when did that start becoming an option? So look at what they're doing, and I'll give you some clues. The more niche your target audience is, and the more niche your connection with them is, the more your communication with them becomes the marketing, and you don't have to worry anymore about marketing. So we're going to learn a whole lot more about that in the recurring revenue membership business community. I have some trainings coming up and lots of other fun things, but we're going to close out this challenge first tomorrow. And this is your last chance to ask questions right now, though, and I think I saw Lene's hand go up. Can you unmute yourself, dear? I can't get to it.
Yes, I got it. So what happens to my business page if I have a group page also?
You keep it. You keep your business page.
Would you post the same thing on both of them? Or
no.
Would you? Okay.
No. There may be some overlap from time to time, like if you're having a big, massive, huge Christmas sale, like, or whatever. My recurring revenue, I posted on both. But you don't want to have the same, the people in your community who are in the group, like in the fold, they're the ones you save the best stuff for. The business page, I would go live on my business page and do some videos, like do a video once a week, like whatever you did yesterday, do a video on how to use the products or some tip or something. If you're the person who was the diet nutritionist or whatever, you can have a nutrition tip of the week, just generally. But then you can share that into your group, and that can be where the actual conversation happens, or you can do a separate one in the group. But no, I would not make them duplicative. The reason to have a business is largely, well, it used to be because it was the only real option on Facebook. And now it's the only one that the public can get to without you being a gatekeeper. If it's a group, they have to ask to join, even if it's a public group. But anybody can like your page on Facebook. And have you guys noticed that now you can follow a Facebook page? I don't know what they're doing, but I would not be surprised if they didn't phase out that like. I would not be surprised, because they're already talking about phasing out likes on Instagram. And in some countries, the likes aren't even visible anymore. Did you guys know that? You can't even see the likes in certain countries on Instagram. You can see who liked, but it doesn't say, 300 likes in some. We can still see them here in the US, but it wouldn't surprise me if they took those away, for a couple of different reasons we won't get into right now. But again, when you have your own community, it doesn't matter what they're doing. Like, who cares about their algorithm? My people are here. Like, now, obviously, if they take away the Facebook group, you don't want that to happen. Like, Mark could close ours down to Mark Zuckerberg, or call him Mark, right? Mark could close ours down tomorrow, and there would be nothing I can do about it. But I have email addresses, and I have other ways of getting in touch with people. So as I teach more, you'll learn more about how important it is to maintain the community, but don't ever build your house on property that's totally owned by somebody else, because Facebook has been known to shut things down. Like the first video I did to summarize day 1 of this challenge, they just pulled it down. They called it spam. It's like, what does that mean? I didn't know. Like, I had a shirt on that had a little bit of cleavage showing. I thought, well, maybe I violated. It's like too much cleavage. I don't know. They didn't give me any explanation. I pushed a button to appeal, but I couldn't write anything. I just pushed the button. 36 hours later, my video was back. I couldn't do anything about it. So we don't want to be 100% dependent on them. We want to make sure that when you make a video that you share inside your community, if you want to keep that video, you need to download it. You need to save it in your Dropbox or wherever you put your videos. And you need to make sure that you maintain your closet of intellectual property so that you can use it, down the road. Some videos, don't, like the daily challenge videos, if they take them, I'm not saving these. I'm saving this, but I'm not saving the little 2-minute videos I do. Day 1 was great, day 2 was great. I do save all of the ones that are substantive, because you can reuse them. You can sell them, you can reuse them. One day if I sell my business, they're going to want to say, where's all the training? I'm buying a bunch of training. Well, it's all right here categorized, in our Dropbox or whatever it is, and we can transfer that to you. So keep that in mind. Always be thinking about the long term. Where is your business going? Not just what you're doing today, but where is it going 5 years, 10 years, 15 years down the road? I don't even remember what your question is now, Nalay. I hope I answered it. Good. All right. All right. Anybody else? Let's see. There's more chats going on here. I told you I was going to stay till the bitter end. Terry says, thank you. Great webinar. Will these chat comments show during the replay? I don't know, but I tell you what, I will make sure I save them somehow and get them to you. Asherita, okay, good spelling for her name. Carol, this has been helpful. There is a save option under more. Thank you, Bernardette. Okay, I'm on notice now, so I have to make sure I save it, because now she told everybody how to save it, so I will figure that out. So this was great. I thought this was great. I feel really good. Did you guys raise your hand? Did you learn anything? I'm going to unmute everybody. Let me see if I can. Oh, look at all the hands. Yay. Okay, wait. I need to unmute everybody so we can hear that. Oh, Diana's already unmuted herself. Of course. Yes, unmute. Okay, guys. I'm so excited. Was it good?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. Well, if you get a chance to go into our group and post your takeaway about today's interactive training, I would super appreciate that. And don't forget, day 4, we had a little glitch. You have until tomorrow to do your day 4 homework. And I'm so excited. I will see you guys in our Facebook community. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.